I was starting to feel guilty, as it was now November, and every time we had the right wind, I was dragging Jason or Steve away from their own hunts to come and film with me. And as well, I wasn't out filming other hunters like I should have been. Rather, I'd now put the better part of 2 months into trying to film a deer that I was 99% sure that if we had an encounter, I wasn't going to shoot. Day 65. It's really windy tonight, so it's not good, but what do you do? And then it happened. This was the last trail camera picture we had gotten of Droppy, and it was 2 weeks old. For the first time in the last 4 years, we had no idea where he was. Then, news traveled to us that another hunter in the area had taken a big drop-tine buck. It all seemed to make sense now. Nothing with Droppy seemed to go easy or according to the plan, as a couple of weeks later I was fortunate enough to take a great buck that had been traveling with Droppy the year before, and he was the same buck that my hunting partner Jason Peterson had actually been after earlier in the year. Now, if we hadn't filmed what happened next, I wouldn't believe it myself, but while filming the recovery on the deer that I had just shot, Droppy himself decided to make an appearance and clear the rumor on whether or not he was dead. Well, looks like Droppy. Yeah, it's Droppy. It's Droppy. That is the buck that I was after. Can you believe that? Did you get him on tape?
Just as he ran over the hill.
That was the buck that I was here hunting when I shot the buck that Peterson was after. That blows my mind.
I just stood up and I looked over there and...
We're just filming a recovery on like a fantastic whitetail. And what is that, 200 yards away?
Yep.
There's a 210-inch deer. Again, after the season, Droppy was missing. And yet again, we had got wind from the landowner that a big drop-tine buck had been shot on the very last day of the season. December rolled into January and then into February, and we were certain that he was gone. Then, while I was at my daughter's hockey, Steve had gone to pull some of the trail cameras for the rest of the year, and he had sent me one simple text, and that text said, "Droppy lives." On the camera that Steve had pulled, this was the only photo of Droppy that we had. He was wore down, skinny, and his drop tine was broke off at the base. But he was alive. We knew that if he survived the winter, he'd be 6.5 years old, and we'd likely want to start hunting him. We also knew that we had a lot of work to do to get into a position that we could hunt him successfully. I picked back up on Droppy in May, and couldn't believe my eyes. Again, he had grown in leaps and bounds, and now sported a 200+ inch typical frame, and an easy 30 to 40 inches of splits and flyers. Although this year he didn't have his drop tine, I immediately knew that Droppy would be the biggest whitetail I'd ever have the opportunity to hunt in my life. And for the rest of the summer, I spent every waking moment scouting, watching, and trying to figure out just how we'd be able to get him.